What's going on? We was just having a conversation. We was working on this snow day, but we were having conversations, and we want to have more of those conversations with y'all. And so here we are. We get into deep conversations all the time, and those are the type of conversations we want to have out loud.
Can we
What was
issue a
that?
warning?
Yeah. This is
This,
warning.
this this is a trigger warning. This conversation can be triggering to some people. If you take accountability or just um, candid information um, as a dig, or if you're just sensitive or easily triggered, you might not want to watch this video right now until some self-healing is done. So can be triggering to some. It definitely can be that if you're more sensitive. So just a warning.
So, where we left off, where did we leave off? We were talking about, what was the last thing we were talking about? Was
What was
it,
that thing?
I think it was
We
men
bounced
in
around a lot,
leadership,
y'all.
black, straight men in leadership, or black men in leadership. It really doesn't have to do with being straight. Our conversation kind of started off with that. For me, I'm still kind of working through um, I guess maybe some resentment, and I'm still learning. And so, I'm trying to feel more comfortable with, even though I am biracial, right? My mom is white and my dad is black. I'm still trying to feel more comfortable with those types of relationships, because for me that was a traumatic experience. And so when I see those types of relationships in leadership, for leader people who are in leadership positions in interracial relationships, it triggers me. But I also think, on the other hand, okay, I need to be more accepting of this, because you can find the love of your life, in a different, of a person of a different race. I understand that. But Daylana, you made a good point with what you said. Um,
So we were like, how do we get into this? I think we were talking about I think we were just speaking about precinct chairs and leadership position.
yeah,
And I think that I rolled across a photo, and it was a photo of a black man in leadership who is with a white woman. And, I was like, oh my God, I said, she's so pretty. I said, it's a happy looking picture. I'm happy for the couple. However, I always go back to, for me personally, this is just a personal opinion. I personally will not endorse or support, not go against, not anti leadership, but will not, be pro this person in leadership. Um, a black man who has an interracial relationship or home. And the reasoning for that is I feel like we need um, a balance. There's a very um, dangerous imbalance of representation of Black families and power couples in this country. There aren't any Black families in leadership that we can point to besides the Obamas and the Huxtables, right? Every time we think about a Black power couple, we be like the Huxtables, who is not a real couple, right? And for
mm-hmm.
me, that's sad. So I always think of there are two things that I told Alicia about, just in my opinion, I feel like we need to have more Black families, Black husband, Black wife in leadership roles. That representation, we need to see it. So I will be intentional about prioritizing those couples. I don't care who Black men date. Don't care at all. However, when it comes to leadership roles, that was an alarm for me and Alicia to get to work. Did you
Right.
just get the alarm too?
Yeah, I did.
So I just prioritize supporting those Black couples. And the second thing was culture. You can put Black skin into leadership, but putting Black skin in leadership does not mean you're putting Black culture and the Black mindset, pro-Black mindset in leadership. And there's a difference. So for me, I feel like we need to have Black women, because Black women make the culture and drive the culture. So if you don't have a Black woman in your home, for me, I feel like you're going to have watered down the erasure of Black culture in your home. And it can happen, it's going to naturally happen because half of that culture in that home is not Black, which means that you're going to have shared culture. That is okay. But for the leadership and representation that I'm speaking about, which is Black, you need a Black woman who makes and drives the culture in that home, right? Raising kids, Black kids who know what grease on the edges smell like, who have sat in between her mom's legs getting her hair braided and has smelled cocoa butter. Just all of those things that I've shared with Alicia before, like just the cultural things that need to be passed down. I feel like you have to have the Black man and the Black woman in the home for me to prioritize supporting you in leadership. And that's when Alicia started to share what she was speaking about. But, while I know that there are a lot of people who think like me, they don't openly say it just because
Mm-hmm.
people always take pro-Black as anti-white. And it's just not
Mm-hmm.
true. It's like, I don't care who, uh, um, Darrell Smith date. I don't care. I just made that name up, by the way. I don't care who he dates. I just will not prioritize him for leadership because we need to have a equalizing of representation of Black families in leadership, and that's what that was. And then Alicia started to share, a very profound perspective as well, being biracial and how she felt about that. So
Yeah. It kind of played into what I was feeling like. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of still just like working through that. Um, being biracial, not having a father present growing up. I've met my dad later on in life, and as I'm growing and kind of going through this like spiritual journey that I'm on to really get down to the center of who I am and where I feel like I need to be as a person, I've realized that some of my views stem from resentment. That resentment, um, and I've kind of but I'm still really just on this journey of learning and everything, and trying to figure out you know who I am and why I do the things I do. What do they call this? The gosh, I can't even remember the name for it. But so I know I see a lot of stuff going around the internet right now, and people are talking about, oh, Black men are the weakest link, blah 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 blah, right? What do you guys think about that? I mean, I feel like Black women
keep it a
have
honey, keep it a
have
buck.
I feel like Black women have like progressed so much, right? And I feel like Black LGBTQ have progressed so much, but we still have Black men I'm just not really sure where they're at right now. I feel like a lot has to be. We have to. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work we have to do. And I don't want to be like, I love black men, period. Like, it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? I love black men forever, always. I just think there's some things that we need to work on in our community. Like we talked about our Protecting Black Women, our Protecting Black Women series. We have the highest number of black women being killed by black men, domestic violence. Like black women, that is one of our, if you think about, like in the food chain, I think about it like that. Like in the food chain, we're right there. Like, so
They're
I think,
mine. I can definitely
but
yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all
These
think? What do y'all think about the weakest link
I'll give them some tea.
conversation
They
that's
still
going
you don't got
around?
this room for the snow. I'm sorry, y'all. My mama, she interrupted my conversation.
What Pinky say? The problem is black men in leadership that have white wives always seem to hate black women. They make it their business to throw their white wives in the face of black women in leadership. They fetishize white culture and have immersed themselves in it, and they don't care to actually support the coach community in action, just in words. Oh, they don't support the black community in action, just in words. I completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
completely agree with that.
And
And like Daylana said, we shouldn't. I mean, I really feel like you said, we shouldn't be supporting these, especially if they show that. Like, I can understand like finding the love of your life in another race, another culture, whatever, another background, all that. But black men are the only group of men on this planet that will put down, the opposite sex to explain for why they date outside of their race. You don't see white men. Oh, okay. You don't see white men going online and saying, "Oh, well, I don't date white women because white women are weak. They blah blah blah, whatever." They say, "I date black men because black women are strong. They're strong mind." You know what I'm saying? Like
they do this for
they
me.
say.
They give me this vibe, that vibe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So I just wonder, like, why is it something in our culture? Is it something that needs to be like, why is that
I
taught?
feel like it's rooted in self-hate. Like the black man,
Self-hate is rooted in slavery.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the black man has always had to, have had a lot of things on their back to carry,
Mm-hmm.
and the black woman just did not fit. You don't have to carry a white woman. Now, this is just me. I'm thinking through, you know, I feel like there are a lot of perspectives on this, and you can have several and they can change.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all still learning through this and walking through this because it's not an easy concept. But things that I do know and that I do feel that I have seen, there have been studies and things like that. And I've looked at those time and time and time again. And the numbers don't lie. But I'll say this, that, black men and black women have a lot that they have to carry. And the black woman has not been in that backpack of a black man. We just didn't fit. We still don't fit. You don't have to carry a white woman because this country carries white women. So I feel like black men feel like I don't have any more room in my bag for this beautiful black woman. So I'm gonna go get something that's easier for me to walk into without what might be trauma, without what might be the daddy issues, that might be some of the same issues that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now
I think it is a lot of trauma.
mm-hmm.
If you think about like everything that black men have went through, the erasure of black men and families because of the government, by hands of the government, you know, the constant belittling, the constant uh, you know, incarceration rates, everything that they've been through. I think it's just trauma. I think it all adds up in the trauma. It has to be pieced out. I feel like it's so much that it has to be pieced out because they say that trauma lives in your DNA and it's passed down from person to person, and that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight, especially on a black man. Especially during slavery, they're out there and they come home, and after being beaten all day, worked to nothing. All that is passed down in trauma in your DNA. So I think it's going to take a while, but I think it just has to be picked apart.
I feel like in regards to the government and the erasure of black men in the home, I don't feel like I feel like we can give a small percentage of that to the government, but I also feel like I don't want to lean on that because we all know that black women still had black men in those homes. Black women still had their man in that house, and we
Right.
know it. If they wanted to be there, the black woman was gonna let them be there, even if we had to sneak you in that joint. Even if we
Right.
couldn't, we had to hide your stuff under the bed, you know, but you were there. If you wanted to be, where else were you gonna be? Where they
Right.
wanted you to be, locked up or dead. But other than that, you was in a black woman's home, whether that was your mama or your woman. Where else were you? Not in your own place. So I think that we could give a percentage of that to the government. But other than that, I feel like, there are a lot of homes of black women that are open for black men. But I feel like with the allowance of black men to legally date outside of their race, and black women as well to date outside of their race, the first to break that loyalty to the black home is and was black men. And I feel like we got to deal with that. And it's not a we, because it's not black women. It's a they. Black men got to deal with that and reconcile with that. And I don't accept any of that burden that, we got to work through something. I feel like black men need to speak to other black men in that regard. Asian men, they can think black women are beautiful, but their families raise them to date within their race or white. This country tells you that white is right. That's the top of the tier. And then black women are all the way at the bottom. I've spoken to and I've dated other cultures. I've dated African men who said that before they came to this country over in Africa, they teach you that get a white woman if you can, get an African woman if you can. After that, get a white woman, but don't get a African American woman. They teach you that,
Mm.
right? So the thing is that this ain't no under the cover type of thing. Black men, if you find yourself preferring women that are not black, women that don't look like your mama, you
Let
may
that
need
go.
to go to counseling. You may
Let
need
it
to go to
go.
counseling. And the thing is, black women, we always got to be like, oh, but it's okay to find love outside of your race. Well, why ain't everybody else doing it as much as black men?
Mm.
I didn't say it was wrong, but we always got to say, but it's okay, but it's not wrong, because we don't want to look like we crazy if we say that black men should be dating black women. We always got a but, or we gonna look crazy, or we gonna look vengeful or evil. No,
Right.
black women, we need to stop accepting that. Stop accepting that you can't just say point blank period, black men need to go to counseling. Black men have self-hate. Black men, we love you. And because we love you, we're going to hold you accountable for breaking up the black home. You need help. Go find out why you will go and be with someone other than a black woman before, especially if you were raised by a black woman specifically. Yeah, I'm going out there too. I saw him, but I will go and seek some therapy just to internalize, start to think about, why do I always choose to date outside of my race? I think that
Mm.
black men need to go to counseling.
That's the one right there. I think it's cool to date outside your race. What's not okay is degrading black women to justify your preference. Exactly.
Who is that? I
And
can't
black
see.
men are the only race of people that does that.
Mm-hmm. We always got to say, I think it's cool to date outside your race. I think it's okay to date outside your race. My thing is that if we keep on adding that caveat to our sentences, black men are never. So what if black men just choose to mask all of their hate for black women and just start saying, well, it's just my preference. It's just my preference. They could easily lean on that caveat, that but. It's cool to do so. But so
Right.
does that mean that before black men were legally able to date outside their race, they didn't love the black women that they were with?
No.
Should we sit with that for a second? Before you will be killed for dating outside of your race, black men were with black women. Does that mean there was a great number of them that did not love the women that they were with? Did they always prefer something else? Like I said, it's just a lot to sit with this, because my thing is that I don't care if you date outside your race, but we can't keep allowing them the safety of saying, it's just my preference. It's just my, why is it your preference? When you only knew when this is what your mama looked like, this is what your sister looked like. You don't find that beautiful as well? Like, for a black man, if the last 5 women you dated were white, I question you. If you mix it
Look,
up and you
I'm
date Asian,
sorry,
you
but
date
for
white and
me,
everything.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
mixed, white mother, for me, no. Mm-mm. If you date white, but this is the thing, and this is the thing. It's crazy because you can literally, I can look at a black guy and say, oh, he dates white women.
Bingo, yes. Yes, me
Like
too.
what? Like we can tell. Like I can look at you. I can look. It doesn't matter. I don't know what it is. Okay, you could be. It don't matter. I can literally tell. And for me, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Mm.
I feel like those guys, the way that they treat women is a little bit different. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Now you just brought up something real good. I like that. You should dig into that more. What is that,
I
Alicia? Give us more of
I don't
that.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what is that? What is that? What is that? It's like what's Lynn talking about? Some black mothers have told their black sons that I don't want no nappy headed black grandchildren. I don't know who said that.
See, but that was another generation. That was really like that was like my mom's generation. Not my mom's, but that was my that was like my. Can y'all still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was like that was what, the baby boomers. That was them. But we haven't had that in a long time. Like, there has been a black awakening for 20
Yeah.
years coming.
Wow.
And we
Yeah.
don't even say nappy as a negative thing anymore. So I don't think it's the now listen, I'll say some of the mindset is still there. You're right about that in
Mm-hmm.
regards to women or people in general preferring a thinner grade of hair than a thick grade of hair. That
Mm-hmm.
mindset is still passed down. You're
Yeah.
right about that. Let me back that up. That mindset is still in the DNA for sure. Um, but as far as black women telling black men um, that in order to not get a thicker hair baby, you need to go and date outside your race. Now that is rare, I would say, for a black woman to say, because she probably got a kitchen too. That
I
would be
go
like
in
me with
like,
my kitchen telling my son don't go, have a baby that got a kitchen. That would be absurd.
but
Alicia, why can't I hear you? I think it's me. It's my. Can
oh
I?
yeah, I
Alicia,
can
say
hear you.
something.
I can hear you.
You hear me? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going through this journey, right? Of like self discovery, uh, being biracial. I haven't lost my point.
Mom, can you
I was
close
about
that
to go
door,
into something.
please?
What was I talking about? I
Yes.
done got lost. Oh, okay. I was talking about okay, so I got to a point, like it's been years. This has been years in the making. Daylana has literally watched me go through the motions of this like change and discovery and all the above, right? But I went through a time where I was like, I I I I despise well, okay, no, not interracial couples. I despise couples that are a black man and a white woman. Like that is and I'm that's still something I'm working with because I feel like that is not I say a death sentence. I say a death sentence, but it's not that deep. But I feel like that is a traumatizing group of people to have children. I really do. Because most of the time the children are raised by the woman, right? I mean, the man is there and everything, but a lot of times the woman is like the one in the home, cooking, feeding, whatever, right? And so the mom has a huge influence on who this person will be. And it seems like black or white women are unable to raise black women. You can't, a white woman cannot raise a black woman. And so I think that puts little mixed girls in predicaments that end up being like mine. You know, having to really dig deep to figure out who I am or where I came from or what, you know, just who I am. And so for me, interracial couples that have kids and the mom is white, girl, you got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to do. And if you ain't intentional, you are uh, raising children who will be completely confused, lost, because they need black
Mm-hmm.
influence. They need to learn how to be a black woman or a black man in the community because that's who they are. Now you talked about white women fetishizing their biracial kids. Daylana, this was something
Mm.
that you said you had a conversation about or something. I don't know.
I'm sorry, y'all. I have to brush my teeth like 5 times a day because of wearing this this what is the thing called, retainer?
Retainer.
So, girl.
But yeah, so I've seen a lot of that. I actually saw a lady who was on TikTok and my bad. And she everything about her account was literally her mixed kids and their eyebrows and their hair
Mm-hmm.
and her wishing she had what they had. And that just like that was a lot. That was a
Mm-hmm.
lot to take in because that's where the problem is. Like the lady on
Yeah.
TikTok that everybody was talking about who says, "Oh, my boyfriend says I'm blacker than most black girls." What?
Mm-mm-mm.
What?
Mm-mm-mm.
How bad do you want to be us?
Child. Mm-mm-mm.
It's like really like that's
I'll tell you this. I would be offended if I
girl,
was a white
exactly.
woman. If you
Exactly.
told me that I was something else more than I am myself. Because I would say, does that mean that you want me to be, you desire for me to be
You
something
want a black
else
woman, but you
more
don't
than I
want a
am
black
me?
woman?
See, it's the only skin deep thing. They want you to be black on the inside, but white skin on the outside. Because that's pretty much what he was telling her. You blacker than whatever. He wasn't talking about her skin tone. He was talking about cultural. He was talking about her spirit. So that means that you desire for me to be a black woman just without the black skin.
Hmm. Lynn Tucker said they want our rhythm, but not our blues. Okay,
Period.
that's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You know? So I feel like, while some black men may not understand why they prefer white women or always date white women, If you don't know, or if you don't feel like there's any type of malice, there might not be, but there could be trauma. There could be self-hate, and that's something that you need to go to therapy to work out. I'm not saying that there are black men who do this on purpose. There are the ones, like you guys have spoken about time and time again, the ones that degrade black women, should say, they're anti-black in order to be pro-white. I'm pro-white, anti-black. We have those, but there are some men who really say that this was not done out of malice, that I really love this person. You
Mm-hmm.
could, that could be true. That still does not mean that there is not an issue there. And guess what? That issue will then become that white woman's issue, and she will see it and feel it.
Mm-hmm. For real.
So I would say white women, same thing. And there's an awakening of white women as well who are saying that these are the same black men for black women and white women who are problematic. So white women will have to also say, you need to go get therapy, boo.
Mm-hmm.
You're treating me this way. You're subordinating me this way. I mean, you cut me off when I speak, or you don't respect my opinion on things. You don't ask my opinion on things. Why do you treat me like, you know, I'm beneath you? Why do you treat me like I'm not good enough, that I'm not powerful enough, or educated enough, or cultured enough? Um, I feel like black women and white women the same need to hold black men accountable. Black men hold black men accountable.
For real.
Yes, we love black men, but because we love you, this conversation needs to happen, you know? And so we got here by saying, I was just expressing to Alicia that um, I do not support or endorse black men who date outside of their race, because it will be the erasure of black families in leadership. We already don't have much to erase besides the Obamas and the Huxtables. But if we start to support, these biracial couples, or I'm sorry, interracial couples, then it is the beginning of the erasure of black women.
You
We have
know,
to think about that.
one of the other things that was kind of, and this was like really confusing to me, and I just learned this like within the last 6 months, was how white passing biracial kids or people can't, it's frowned upon for you to say I'm black,
Hmm.
because technically you're not. You're biracial and you're white passing. So for me,
Hmm.
I'm not white passing. A lot of people say, I look like a light skinned black person, but I'm biracial. But so I wouldn't be white passing. So it would be okay for me to say I'm black, but I have to say that I'm biracial. And it's like it was really frowned upon. Like I saw a lot of videos on TikTok where people who are white passing, who look like they're white but they're biracial, were making videos like I'm black because they said the N word in one of their videos or something. Everybody's like, what? They're like, no, I'm black. Here's my dad and here's my mom. And if you have to explain, if you have to show people who your parents are in order to get away from people calling you racist because you said the N word, then that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So if you're white passing, you shouldn't be calling yourself black. I don't know. It was kind of weird for me to experience that, and I had to like look at myself and figure out like, okay, what am I saying in public that could be offensive because I don't have darker skin. I have a privilege. And yeah, so it was different. And for me, it's like, okay, my son is light skinned, very light skinned. So how, and we've talked about HBCUs and stuff like that. So I have to, and of course now I know this. This is the crazy thing about being biracial is you are completely accepted in the Black community. Like, I am accepted. It doesn't matter where I go in our community. Like, I'm accepted. But in a white community, mm-mm, no, no. It is terrible. I mean, it is like fighting tooth and nail in the white community.
Mm-hmm.
So, my son being very, very light, having Black features but very light, I have to figure out a way to make sure that he is not disrespectful and knows his privilege of being white passing for when he, gets older. So that's going to be something I have to navigate and figure out and learn myself so that I can accurately explain to him like who he is and what his privileges are and all that good stuff. So that's a whole journey that I'm getting ready to go on because he is getting ready to turn 15 and right now he attends high school and college, and so he will soon be out here, and I want to make sure that he knows everything and is ready for what might come his way because he's growing in a Black household. He's growing up in a Black household, but he's white passing. And so growing up in a Black household, in my house, my kids, the N word, it's you know what I'm saying? It's frequent. And so him growing up in a Black household but being white passing is going to be kind of weird because he's in his eyes he's Black. He's Black.
Yeah. And
That's gonna
that's deep, and I know that's a conversation we've had so many times. That is something that um it's going to be so necessary, and that is part of the uphill battle of raising biracial children. And that's why we always say that there has to be a level of accountability for the parents, because you have to know that these biracial kids you're going to be raising, it's not going to be like raising a all white child or all Black child.
mm-hmm.
There's going to be a level of explaining that has to be done and teaching that has to be done beyond your normal. And so
Yeah,
it's like, don't just walk into this lightly fetishizing this
exactly.
Black skin of this
Exactly.
man, or this Black man fetishizing the white skin of this woman,
If you're gonna have
you
babies,
know?
you better, man, you got to be
Yeah,
prepared for what you're getting into because it's
yeah,
a lot of work. And if you can't do that work, don't do it. Period. Just don't do it.
yeah.
If you are not ready to do that work, because it's going to be a lot more work, like you said, than just raising a regular old, you know. So
But yeah, I gotta go because I gotta go make sure my car don't get snowed in. But that was a good conversation. But we
yeah.
we wanted to make sure that we start to include you guys on more of our day to day work style. We work, and then we have these type of conversations as we work. It's like weaved and threaded into our work day.
Hmm.
And then there's a level of accountability in that because we learn as we both share,
Yeah.
our perspectives. We grow. There's something that I learned from things that Alicia always researches something. I'm always researching something. We're always learning and sharing, and that's what makes us grow. And we hold each other accountable in that way. And you all should be doing the same thing. Don't shy away from conversations, and also don't click up with people who are just like you, because none of you will grow. Don't click up with the
Hmm.
other Black men who date white women, because you will never grow that way, because you guys probably all got the same and share the same trauma that you don't even know you're carrying in your backpack. You all probably all carry the same self-hate, and it's usually dark-skinned men, I ain't gonna lie, that be dating outside their race. And not always, but typically it's white women who have not been accepted by the white community. Now that's a whole nother thing.
Mm.
Usually Black men get white women who have not otherwise been accepted by the white community, and they hop on over here like the Black men accept me. Now that ain't no lie, because if you look at it, a lot of thick white women do date Black men because thick is not in the white community. So they hop on over here where the men like thick women.
Hmm.
And that's facts.
So I would just say that there's a level of trauma in all of this, because even white women who will date black men who they know it's going to be an uphill battle. They know that they're going to have to take this man to their family. He's probably not initially going to be accepted. There's going to be a level of struggle if you take a black man to your white family. So there's probably a level of trauma in that white woman's head as well. Now that's a conversation y'all need to have. Why did you choose me, and why did you choose me? And don't keep it all popcorn, sweet cotton candy. Let's go to therapy and figure out why we chose probably the most unlikely person that we could have chosen in society. You choosing me will be hard. Me choosing you will be hard. We will get of all kind of eyes when we walk outside these doors. Why did we do this? Let's go to trauma. And once y'all work that out in trauma, and y'all know, like we know some biracial, some interracial couples that are amazingly working within the black community. Now, I might not be talking about you and your man, so don't be sitting there thinking like, yeah, she's talking about us. We good in the
Ah,
black community. I may not be talking about y'all, but there is a couple, I'll say a couple, that I know that works in the black community, that they're doing a great job navigating, being pro-black. However, they probably most likely worked out their stuff, in therapy. So go work out y'all stuff so y'all would know how to talk about. Like I would have loved to get a interracial couple on here that can say these are the problems that we face, and this is how we overcame them. And now we have the talking point. Now we have the knowledge and the tools to navigate those things that are going to face us in our relationship and then in our motherhood and fatherhood. Now I'm going to have to go because my nephew just got the loudest toy in the house to play with, y'all. The loudest one. He does this on purpose, I promise. Alicia, you got anything else to say, girl?
no. I think that was a good conversation. More to come.
It was
We're
deep.
always talking about something. We always got something up our sleeve. So we'll
Subscribe
be
to our
back.
YouTube channel. We need subscribers. Like this video on YouTube. Please, if you're
Yes.
on Facebook or any other of our platform of ours, please go to YouTube, like this video, and subscribe to our page. That's how you can support us. Be a subscriber to our YouTube channel and like the video. Thanks,
Yep.
y'all. We snowed in, so we'll be back.
Yep.
Peace.
Hmm.